Welcome to the United Constitutional Patriots Radio Show with your host, Johnny. Today we'll be talking about the Mexico border and other issues within the United States. I will now turn the mic over to Johnny, so here's Johnny.
Thank you, Pete, and welcome everybody to the United Constitutional Patriots Radio Show tonight. I want to welcome all of our listeners, and I want to thank the people for the donations that have been coming in. They're really appreciated. The men are appreciated. We got another 60 men that are getting ready to head to the border, so we're going to really need help down there. But before I go into all that, we've got quite a bit of stuff we're going to cover tonight. And I will cover, I'll probably take up toward the end because we have information that, and news that you folks are going to want to hear. I do want to welcome the law enforcement agencies that are listening to us and the police officers and retired officers that are avid listeners out of St. Bernard County, Louisiana. Again, they're good people. They're good friends. They call me and talk to me, discuss things, and they're proud to have them as friends. Also, I want to welcome the Mojave County Sheriff's Department out of Kingman, Arizona, and all other law enforcement agencies across the country that are tuning in as now. I'm kind of proud because they said that they are avid listeners because they know that we do give true news, vetted news, and they know that a lot of our information is backed by people in Washington, D.C. And the ones out of Washington, I want to welcome you also to the show. And at this point right now, I will turn this over to Nuclear Warrior because he's got quite a bit of stuff to cover and some information and news that's breaking. And he's going to have some advice for you. And please, people, take this advice. Do not take it lightly. And we're also going to have Greg giving reports and Chuck giving reports tonight, as we are. We're a team, and we all work together. So, Nuclear Warrior, go ahead and take it, my friend.
Okay. Thank you, Johnny. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow patriots, and fellow citizens. You've heard me speak in the past about being cognizant of your surroundings, being vigilant to things that seem to be a little out of place or don't really make sense. And I'm here to expound on a couple of those that happened here just in the last 5 days. Last Thursday, we were having quite a rain event here in Central Texas. And during this rain event, the county of Llano and Burnett got about 4 to 5 inches of rain. On this particular day, Thursday, one of the residents of a higher up area out towards Lake Buchanan was leaving their property to come into town to go to the gym to work out and then do stuff in town. She came upon 3 men standing in the middle of the road, talking amongst themselves and pointing out different things that she couldn't really pinpoint exactly what they were pointing at, but they were all doing pointing and hand gesturing and what have you, and they're doing this in a downpour. And they did it for several minutes before she honked the horn to get their attention, to have them move so she could get by and go out to the highway. Well, they did not move, and they motioned for her to go around them and were rather rude about the signaling. So she did. She went around them, got to the highway, decided that something wasn't quite right, called her husband back at the house. He initially blew it off there for a little bit, but she was rather insistent that something wasn't right. So he went down to that section to check it out, see how they owned the property. And when he got there, they had moved from the road and were now inside a brand new Cadillac Escalade SUV with blacked out windows. And he was on the entrance to the RV park that they own. He tapped on the glass for them to lower the window so he could talk with them, find out if they were lost, find out if they needed something. Well, they refused to roll down the window to talk to him. So he walked away and he contacted the sheriff's department for the particular county. Now, the county more or less blew it off as well. And I found out about it the following Monday when Doc Robinson, who actually cleans house for this particular lady, had a conversation with her, and she relayed the information to me over dinner. Well, it gave me a real chill up my spine because this situation sounded like individuals were scoping out targets. It was reminiscent of 9/11 when they had an incident at this very dam, which they found out after the fact that this dam was on the hit list for attacks during 9/11 that never materialized. But they had armed guards on the dam, courtesy of the LCRA, Lower Colorado River Authority. Now, these individuals, as she described them, appeared to be Arabic. They were dark-skinned, black-haired, and when I found out the information, I immediately got into the war room here and was discussing it with the commander and all of the rest of the staff, and passed this around. Well, we had visitors in the room, and they took great notice. The Department of Defense immediately dispatched agents and people to come over here and check out the situation. Now, this morning at 5 a.m., we saw results of our action. There were helicopters at 5 a.m. going back and forth across the dam area and checking things out. And Homeland Security showed up. I saw their vehicle. And the woman who saw the men standing in the street sent a text message to Doc Robinson and was asking her what all the helicopters were doing at 5 a.m. out in the area. So later on in the day, Doc had to go visit with her and kind of explained that the information she had passed on may have averted a very big catastrophe. And she took pride in knowing that she was able to help. So it turns out that whatever we discover, whatever we learn with us monitoring our surroundings and finding information out and sharing it with you all, that there are people who are very interested in the information that we provide, and they act on it immediately. Immediately. So that's why I keep bringing this up, folks. Be cognizant of your surroundings. If it doesn't look right, doesn't feel right, doesn't smell right, doesn't sound right, people are acting peculiar, or they're checking out places that you would not normally think somebody would consider a tourist attraction, take pictures, what have you, let somebody know. If you can't get any results from your local authorities, go visit the United Constitutional Patriots Facebook page and leave a comment there of something that you see. We'll have a chance to look at it. If you can provide pictures, that's even better. We'll vet the information. If it looks like it's pretty important, we're going to pass that on to authorities that we know will actually take action on this. A secondary thing that I noticed early in the week, on Monday, I ran across a group of folks that were parked alongside a substation very close to this same area of the dam, and they were pointing out and looking at different things inside this substation switchyard. I didn't think anything of it because I see vehicles in and out of there every once in a while. They check the instrumentation, what have you. But these happen to be women. So I tucked that in the back of my brain, and Greg, one of the staff members in the room here, drug that out of me earlier today in discussion. It sparked my memory, and I recalled it all, and that's why I'm sharing it with you here and now as well. If you see electrical substations where all of the wires go into and it gets distributed out to the townships, the counties, etc., if there's people standing around them looking at stuff or taking pictures, or they just kind of look out of place for being in a high voltage area, report it to somebody. It could actually hold some weight that they may be planning something. So that's about all I have on that. And I'm trying to think of anything else. The authorities are investigating all of this incident on the dam. We don't know a whole lot of information on that yet, but they promise that when they learn something, that we'll know it. And if we know it, we can pass it along. But in the meantime, it's still under investigation. I'll say it again, folks. It is your civic duty to pay attention to your surroundings, especially in today's political climate, that these things are going to be happening in your neighborhoods as well. We just happen to catch this one at the right place at the right time, and the right people spoke up. And we passed the information along and got results. We're not complete with the results yet, but they assured us that we're going to see results. So take this to heart. Pay attention to your surroundings. If it doesn't look right, doesn't feel right, is something's out of place, but you don't know exactly what, bring it to someone's attention. If you can't get any local results, visit the UCP Facebook webpage and leave us a comment there, and we'll vet it and see if we can find out information for you. That's it for me for right now, Johnny. I'm going to pass it back to you to pass along.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it, Nuclear Warrior. One of the things I'm going to say about this subject, folks, is no matter how minute something might seem, report it. It may be something you may think is stupid, but that thing you may think is stupid might be something that's going on, and you may be able to save somebody's life, even your own. So be very vigilant of what's going on in your surroundings. If you're going to dams, lakes, stuff like that, watch and see if there's anything that's out of place. If it is, don't even hesitate to report it. They would rather have you report it and nothing be there than have you not report it and something be there and something happen. You know, as one person, you can make a difference. Don't think you can't. It's all up to the American people to have everybody's back now. Watch each other. The local law enforcement, for most parts, we can trust them. They put their lives on the line every day for you, and they're there for you. They're a public servant. That is what they are for. They are to make sure the safety of not just you, but your community, what's around you. And with that, I'll turn you over to Greg. Greg, go ahead. Greg Clark. He's all of you are pretty much familiar with him. He's not just a normal person. He's heavily involved in politics. He helped bring Hillary down on her when she was running for president. He is involved in the music industry, the movie industry. He's got his own books that he writes. So that's just a little bit about Greg. But he's been a part of our group now and one of our staff members for quite some time. So what he's got to say too on these matters and some of the things that were said from our last guest, which we'll be back on sometime this week, he's got more information for you. So go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, just to pick up, thank you very much, Johnny. I appreciate it. And yeah, you can read about this. A lot of the of what we're going through the last 4 years, really, it will be in part 3 of the AmericanWatersheds.com book series. So once I'm able to sort out all the history that's true and what is true and what isn't, it's real hard out there, and we're all working on it all the time. But just to expand on what Johnny was saying, when you call your local law enforcement, you can always call your local police, and you can always report it to both Homeland Security and the FBI. And if you don't feel like they're following up, you can always contact the United Constitutional Patriots. And I just really want to say congratulations to United Constitutional Patriots, and especially to you, Johnny, because you're the brainchild and the commander, and you've stayed this thing for so many years. And I think we're really seeing results, based, not only for what the great work that Doc Robinson and Nuclear Warrior did, which was enormous. It could have saved a lot of lives and done something really important there. So very proud of them. And also wanted to say that, we've been continually, I think, making a difference here on United Constitutional Patriots. The hemp that we promoted, the industrial hemp that they use for 50,000 products, and now that's the farmers are very excited this year. I'm hearing that they're going to be making this extra money, and hopefully we will continue to press the idea that if we use this in Florida around the sugarcane and all those areas, it takes the phosphates out of the soil and help us to work towards getting rid of this red tide, as well as creating billions of dollars in revenue for a product that that does have. It's not for any type of getting you high or anything like that. It's an industrial plant that once it was required to grow. So we're very excited about that, and I think we help with that. We had Steve Edmonds on here, who's been on this like a dog for like 10, 15 years. Steve and I started off with working for Woolseyfer, the Libertarian Attorney General, which was really, really a great guy. And, his ideas, it was kind of like running a third party. It was a third party, let's be honest. But I mean, it was more about getting the ideas out there that we were promoting than actually Mr. Woolseyfer actually winning in the end. And I think we did that really well. And part of it is what Steve is trying to get through to Florida and other places about this. So we're very excited, and I think we've made a lot of difference when we go back to the Bureau of Land Management that showed up in some really strange documents this week. Apparently, they might be involved in. Well, we knew they were deep state and United Nations bound, and this was all a resources and land grab. But they got caught up in possible some of these coup against the president, and I think we helped with that. They remember that they took away the policing rights of the forestry and the wildlife and management and all that sort of thing. And we've had a series of success here. Whoops, I had to switch hands there. We've had a lot of success here, and I want to just congratulate Johnny and the team throughout the situation. We've gone through some things, but we survived better than we ever were. But what I really want to do now is talk a little bit about how we get better at this, and we've got a lot of great patriots out there right now. And we need to be more proactive out there in social networking with all these great groups, Nance D. Holland, the Follow the White Rabbit on Facebook, and Bobby Capriani and Laura Lydell, who just dumps me with mountains and mountains of documents and dumps all this stuff out there for people to study. And of course, she demands you do your own research, but she just fills you up with all these different things, and it's great. So we become a news source, but we need to evolve that into where we actually not only to continue to try and decipher what's really going on in the world, but we also become more proactive, like what just happened here. So we start looking around more closely at what's going on in not only our towns, but what's going on in the country. Are there, I mean, not that we want to, not necessarily invade people's privacy, but if something really looks out of place in these dark times that we're trying to get through here, where we have a potential for being invaded from the South and within the country, and we see that there's been these plots and we've had these shootings. I mean, it's a reality now. It wasn't like a theory. Now we've had like 30 major shootings. So we all need to, in the social networking world, I think that we're going to evolve to where we can have, be better at what we do with the Patriot Union communication network. Hopefully we'll have the American Patriot Union platform that we can communicate with at auat.org. And also just trying to take ourselves and become better people and better citizens and better patriots. And I think that we're doing that. I mean, when you look at the Trump movement, when you look at voting with our dollars, for example, I mean, look what happened with the NFL, or if you get on the Trumpers doo-doo list, you find out pretty quickly that it's not good to go against the people. So we've learned to vote with our money, and we need to teach each other actually how to be more aware of what our surroundings and what we're going, And so I think we, as the social networking leaders, and I'm going to try and get this out to the groups and all these different people on the next live. We really want to become better at what we're doing. We need to support the president. Just educating other people is very difficult, especially when they haven't had a red pill and they really are clueless and they believe everything that CNN told them, and that Mueller's really going to take down the president of the United States and all these crazy things. It's really hard. I snapped at hang on a sec. I snapped at She-Wolf. She put up something with one of these reaction posts or something. I said, I got so many things to study. And then you put up a reaction post, and I kind of snapped at her. And it kind of reminded me that it's really hard. A lot of us have gleaned our friends list, and we've got rid of people that you can't talk to because they just won't use logic or whatever. But really, we can't give up on these people, and we really need to speak through the words and see through the eyes, and we take the actions of love. And it's very difficult to do, and especially if you're a, smart person, highly dominant, somebody says something really stupid and you want to snap at them, especially when you're kind of anonymous because you're just in social networking. And that's really not the right way to do that. We really need to slowly try and wake people up, that we have crisis in this country, a crisis on our border. We have a crisis all over the place. We have many types of crises, and we need to start working together, and we need to find that unity instead of this division that's going on everywhere. That's not going to help the situation, because divisions between us aren't going to solve the problems. Only the unity between us. And so I think we've got a task ahead of us, and we have a problem that we often.
Okay, Greg.
Oops, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to say, John, we often have a problem that, we want to only keep our friends on our friends list that agree with us. And we have to remember, going into the 2020 elections, it's really about, in a loving way, especially after we know some of the events that are going to be coming up, that we actually talk to people in a loving way, and we try to, give them the red pill, because we know that they're going to get it one way or another. They're either going to get a red pill forced down their throat, or they're going to get it the gentle way, because reality is going to hit soon. I think we're going to have to, some of the things like, for example, Ruth Bader Ginsburg hasn't showed up for work for 3 days. If she's, if something has happened to her, I think we're going to find out if she's gone to Gitmo and been tried in some of these crimes or not. I guess we'll find out. But Rosenstein, another one, we heard he might have gone to the White House today. So hopefully we're rid of Mr. Rosenstein. We sure would like to be rid of him. But the prison reform, which we're very excited about, and I think that we helped here on this show and supported that. So I think I just touched on a few of the things that I wanted to talk about, but also on the border, I just wanted to say that, these people are coming in with all these diseases. I wouldn't put it past them to actually, to bring a disease in or something like that. And this devil's breath drug that the guy was talking about, they use this 50,000 people a year. They use that on people, and you'll basically go and you will empty out your bank account, and you'll do anything they tell you. And these people wind up missing organs and raped in a bed of ice 3 days later, and all their money's been stolen. And that's the kind of thing these people are bringing in this country. That's what that guy was talking about. And if you don't believe me, just type in devil's breath drug on the internet, okay? And you will see that 50,000 people a year have this happen to them in Mexico. And that's just the reported ones. It's probably 10 times that amount. And if you think we want that kind of thing in this country, where you're just sitting in a bar or something like that, and they come by with a little powder and they just poof it in your face, and you become a zombie. They just say, let's go empty your bank account, and you're very happy to do it. And it's a very scary situation when something like that happens. And that is a very real thing. And that's the kind of thing we could let in your country. And apparently that's the kind of thing we are letting in our country. So we better think long and hard about the security and the border of this country. And that's all I wanted to say, Johnny.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it. Now, folks, on the border situation, as you know, we reported we are actually having firefights now on the border, which our gentleman in Mexico verified that himself. We had the last firefight that we were made aware of, which is the other day, right on the New Mexico border by El Paso. There was about a half hour, 45-minute actual hot firefight. No casualties on our side. However, this is what he was warning us of. This is what is coming. He was talking about the diseases that these people are carrying. Now, you got to remember, he was boots on the ground. He is boots on the ground. He is in Mexico. He has people from one end of Mexico to old Mexico to all the way up to Tijuana. He has been hand-to-hand combat with these people. He is put his life on the line. He is a member of the United Constitutional Patriot Group with 300 others with him. And when the caravan gets closer to New Mexico, because we are the only boots on the ground in New Mexico, we will be, they will be coming down to back us up. Now, we got another group coming up out of Texas. They are supposed to be, I believe they're going to be here Monday. In fact, they're listening right now. But when they get here, the scenario, because of the shooting on the border, is happening now. It changes the scenario of our I guess our format of why we're down there. We're down there to back the border patrol, the state patrol, and the forest rangers that are down there. And we are there to stop whoever's coming across, hold them until the border patrol or whoever takes them off of the men's hands. There is child trafficking coming across. We know we have specialized troops that are going to be on those trails for that purpose alone. They are the group that's coming in now. So we have a whole lot going on the border down there, folks, and we still need your support. These guys aren't down there being paid. They need supplies. They need ways to keep themselves warm. They need things to help them sleep. Which Nuclear Warrior here in a little while, I'll have him go through a partial list again. There is a list in the United Constitutional Patriot page on Facebook where you can go in and read and see exactly what's needed. Now, I noticed we've had a lot of visitors on there, and it means a lot. We just got word just now. I'm going to change this for a second. My friend Matthew Wall, he's one of our members. He's out, and I want to welcome you, Matt. There's a truck at a substation in Newburgh yesterday. On my way was home. It was a work truck. Did not look normal to me. In the 5 p.m. hour, windows in the front looked to be tinted. Maintenance is done in the daytime or routine inspections. The truck looked sort of like a Brinks armor truck. And then Mary Murray says, there are a lot of white European style trucks in Southern California that have popped up. That is really strange. You're right. And I'm talking directly to you people. If you have any comments, questions, write them down there, and they will be passed to me. But it's just things that are going around. I'm glad you folks are noticing these things, and thank you for letting us know. But report these things when you see them. Dial 911. Don't hesitate. Find out what's going on. Your community could be at risk. But what we need is we need all the donations we can get right now because the men and the numbers of men on the border. We need financial help. We have a PayPal account set up in the United Constitutional Patriot on our Facebook page. You can go to it by just Googling it. It'll pop up. We are licensed through the state of New Mexico. We're also federally licensed. We are registered with both the federal government and the state of New Mexico as a humanitarian group. You can make these donations for those of you who can and want to. It's appreciated. I don't care if it's $1. Every dollar counts in this situation. That dollar could be able to make one difference. It can make one difference in the whole thing of whether somebody lives or dies. It might sound exaggerated, but that's the truth. That's how it is. If you want to make donations, supplies to us, we need binoculars. We need night visions. We do have some, but we need more. If you want to make donations of dry good foods, things to keep the people warm, you can make them through the United Constitutional Patriot Group, or you all just put United Constitutional Patriots, Post Office Box 1334, Flora Vista, New Mexico, 87415. Now, send that to the United Constitutional Patriots, care of John Horton or Mark Cheney, Cheney. Post Office Box 1334, Flora Vista, New Mexico. Now, we need boots on the ground. We need them really bad. if you can come, if you can help, if you're willing, you can call me at 505-334-2492, and I can give you instructions. We won't give you the exact locations because that's one thing that can we don't want the wrong people to get a hold of the information. But this is how you get a hold of me. Anybody has any comments, you can do call-ins. If you do, I've only got 2 lines in here. So if you do call and want to give information or talk about something that's important like this, give me a call at 505-334-2492 here right now at the radio show. We will put you on the air and let you give your reports or whatever you have to say. Now, one of the things that I want you to understand, folks, is we are not down there to kill anybody. But if we're fired on, we have no choice but to fire back in self-defense, which is 100% legal. We are not there as an army. We are there as a security group to help secure the border. Now, when people hear about us, they say, well, they're vigilantes. We are no way vigilantes. Most of us, I'd say 95% of us, are veterans, military trained, and also we have ex-police officers that are part of our group. We have medical personnel, and these are the type of people we need. Hang on just a second, ma'am. Give me a second. United Constitutional Patriots. Can you call me back? You're all broke up. Okay, you're all broke up. Can you give me a call right back? You sound like you're underwater. Okay, I can barely understand you. Let me see if I can call you back. Boy, he sounded like he was underwater, folks. Let me try to call this gentleman back. I might need that other telephone that's in there.
Commander, I can address some of these questions that are popping up while you're doing.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Matthew Wall and Mary Murray, it's good that you're observing some of this stuff taking place. And the question is who to call and find out if they're supposed to be there. Like Matt is at Portland General Electric. 4:30 p.m. on the 8th. Location was at the end of Wilsonville Road to Newburgh, Oregon, first stop. If it's a good size utility, like say Commonwealth Edison or Con Edison or Pacific Gas Electric, even some of the smaller utilities will have a website where you can call to ask questions about loss of service or other things that deal with the delivery systems. They should be able to take your information and find out if the people that are there are supposed to be there. All you really need is the street address of close proximity of whatever switch yard or switching station is in question, and pass that on to the people in the service department, because they'll dispatch the maintenance folks to see where they're at and what they're supposed to be doing, and be able to answer your questions for you. Most of the time, relay testing, etc., will take place during the day. What happens there is they'll take out a certain feature of the relaying and test the relay itself without disrupting service, and then they all restore it all. Usually they're done with doing a whole switch yard in a day. Sometimes they'll back and do it on a second day, but typically when it starts getting towards shift change for people, line crews especially, they don't work in the afternoon and evening hours. They're usually daytime only. So if they're there after 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, there's a problem. So take that up with the call-in numbers for your local utility. And Mike Baseman is quoting here. I was on a chat, and the ISIS guy told me that they are coming, and he is coming in the caravan. Okay, that's the kind of stuff that we like to know as well. And for the most part, we have eyes and boots on the ground in the caravan. So if ISIS folks are in there, our plant that's covered with the group is probably aware of it already, and he's passing information on to us as well. We will look into it just to verify that we know that ISIS is in the caravan. So thanks for bringing that up, Mike. And I'm really quite pleased that I'm seeing some of this stuff popping up, like for Matt Wall and Mary Murray, Mike Baseman, and all the rest of you folks. Feel free, if you see something that's out of place, by all means report it to local authorities. And if you're not getting results by contacting the local authorities, you can let us know through the United Constitutional Patriots Facebook site. Put a comment in there, ask a question in your comment, and if you can supply a picture, usually I'll be able to tell if they're supposed to be there or not, just based on the way they're dressed and the kind of vehicles that they're driving. Because most of the service vehicles will have some kind of identifying information on the vehicle that it belongs to a particular utility. So keeping that in mind, by all means, if it looks questionable, contact the local authorities. And if you also want to let us know on the UCP Facebook page, please do. I'll help the commander vet the information. And if we find something that we can pass on to you, we'll answer it in the post that you make on our Facebook page. So I'm going to turn it back and see if the commander is ready to pick up his contact and bring him into the room or whatever. Commander, are you available?
Yeah, I'm here, and I apologize to Charlie. We had a real bad connection. He kind of dropped out of sight for a while. He was letting me know he's still alive and kicking, but he wanted to get a message to me, but I couldn't understand him. So he's going to try to get back with me later. So I apologize to you, Charlie. I know you're listening, and anybody else want to call in, you can call me at 505-334-2492 if you have any information or if you're wanting to help us in any way whatsoever. This whole thing that's going on, folks, this is not going to get better. It's not going to get pretty. They got 25,000, as you heard on our last show, from our boots on the ground in Mexico. They're headed our way, and they are planning on rushing the New Mexico border. So if any of you can please share this radio show to your friends, get the word out. We need help. We need help bad. We need to be able to protect America. We need to be able to protect the American people. We need to be able to protect the people on the border. They have gone out of their way to help the men on the border by feeding them. They're doing their by doing laundry, whatever has to be done. That's what they're doing, and they're putting their lives on the line. And we're going to be there till the wall goes up. We have no choice. These people, if we pull out on them after all of this is over with, until it's totally done, if we pull out on them before the wall is done, their lives are not going to be worth 2 cents, because the cartel and the other people involved will come in after them. Now, like I said, there's a lot of disease in this group that's coming. There's things that have been extinct in the United States for 50 years. They're bringing it back. We need to stop this. We need the support of the American people. We need the support of the patriots. Any way you can help us, please, please do. And I'm going to get off this subject for a bit. I'm going to turn this over to Chuck. He has some news that he can also wants to share. So, Chuck, go ahead.
Well, all right, sir. Yeah. Of course, as you all have noticed, those of our listeners, as you all have noticed, when we come on here and do a radio show, we tend to wind up having some very interesting and very important stuff to talk about, as we have had tonight. And it seems like we find ourselves right in the middle of it every once in a while. Well, there was another interesting event that took place. What was it? A few days ago back. And y'all might have heard some of it, but there's some of it you might not have heard. And that was when it first started to pop up, when it first started coming out on social media. It was I saw it first on Twitter. And it started popping up on social media that a Marine was found dead on a Marine barracks in D.C. and that the wound was not self-inflicted. That was basically what was put out. Well, that wasn't all that happened. Apparently, give me just 1 second, folks. Okay, I'm back. I had to reconnect. Apparently, what happened was that there were actually a group of Marines, or they were supposed to be Marines. They weren't Marines, but there was a group of about 50 of them, something to that effect, that took up residence on an old Marine barracks there. And they were basically not Marines, they were civilians, and had been hired by somebody. I suppose they're still trying to determine who that was, but they had been hired by somebody to hack into the financial system here in the United States. And the whole plan was that they were going to try to withdraw, for want of a better word to use for it, about $5 trillion out of the banking system, out of the financial system in the United States, thus crashing the markets, thus basically creating a massive amount of chaos, pretty much shutting down, I guess you could say, commerce in the United States, and throwing this country into a tailspin, into a horrible situation there. Again, it's basically another attempt to stop President Trump and what he's doing, another attempt to take down President Trump. Well, it was found out about it, was caught on to. There was some information that actually, I guess it came from the Russians, it came from Vladimir Putin. Some of it anyway, what was going on, and it was investigated, and these people were stopped in their tracks. They were caught in the act, and about 50 of them were arrested. There was at least one and possibly three, I think it was, that refused to surrender, so there was a bit of a shootout. Three of these so-called Marines that weren't Marines were shot dead. The other 50 were hauled off immediately to Gitmo, where they were interrogated heavily, I should say, interrogated heavily, and they all began to kind of turn on each other just a bit, and to give evidence. Here's what it was. Here's what happened. And so evidence has been collected, and pretty much they know what was behind it. But this was just another effort by the deep state to try to take down President Trump and take down his country and stop what the president has been doing for us. And once again, as in umpteen times previous, once again, they have failed. So, and that is because of good intel, good work, good speed in acting on these things. All of those things are of utmost importance in situations like this. So there was another situation in Florida, just like at the dam that Nuclear Warrior was telling us about earlier. So here we go again. And back to you, Commander.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mike Baseman. said, I was on a chat and excuse me, and the ISIS guy told me they are coming, and he is coming in the caravan. That is not good. Okay. Matt Wall, you said, Johnny, I sent a video to you of Venezuela and the state police were passing out bags of rice. Weird. They looked like other people were getting backpacks. I wonder if the $5 billion from USA paid. I have no idea. Mike, I haven't had a chance to look at that video, but I will after the show, and we will cover it in our next show if it's anything that's really, really serious. Now, Cummins Cook, welcome back to the show. Glad to see you're back in here again tonight. Says, how far away is the caravan? As of yesterday, I believe it was down by Mexico City. They're waiting for the rest of the caravan to catch up with them before they head to our border. And that's the only thing I know about that at this point. Now, our gentleman who's boots on the ground in Mexico will be on back on probably Wednesday. I don't know about Monday, but I know, or Friday, but I know he will be coming back on with updates of what is going on, where they're at, who's with them. Now, he made it very plain to the American people what is going on. This guy is in Mexico. He is helping the federales, and the Mexican people are fighting against the people down there. Yes, they're saying it's 25,000 in this caravan, Mark Hill. There could be more. We know there's more coming behind them, but he did say a lot of these are from Africa, South America. He mentioned a bunch of them that they're from. But these people are coming armed, and they are armed. Now, he sent me pictures of the firefights that they have been having in Mexico, showing actual pictures of the weapons that they're using against them and bodies on the ground. And these were taken with his phone. He sent them as soon as it happened. So, folks, it's going on both sides of the borders. They're fighting over there, trying to get rid of them, and we're fighting, trying to keep them from coming here. This is why we need your support. This is where America has to stand together. Because if we don't stop them at our border, you're going to have to stop them in your yard. And that's a God's honest truth. That is a cold, hard facts. I don't want to see body bags. I've seen them before. I don't want to see body bags filled with Americans. We have, these men are patriots. They're soldiers. They put their life on the line for America before. They're doing it again because they believe in our freedom. They believe in the Constitution. They believe in the rights that the America has, and we want to keep you with those rights that the left want to take away from you. Trump is doing everything he can to get this wall, and he's been fought in every direction, but he's found a way to get it, so he's going to have the wall, and there's nothing the Democrats can do about it. So, okay, Mark, you asked, what about the Mexican military? Are they not helping to curb this? They are doing everything they can. They are actually fighting down there. And that's why we have the men we do in Mexico that are Mexican Americans. They have a lot of them are straight up Mexican citizens, but a lot of the men we have are Mexican American that have a dual citizenship but have family in Mexico. So they're down there fighting to save their families. But it's not going to be curbed as easy as people think it is. They are coming, and I've said it before, and I know folks may be getting tired of hearing it, but they're not coming here to be friendly and shake hands. They're carrying their country flag, and also they are burning the American flag. If that's coming to be friendly in America, there's something really wrong with this picture. So this is where we all have to stand together. We must stand together. If we don't stand together now, we will fall. And I'll be 6 foot under, but at least I gave my life for my country. I've been there before. I'll do it again. Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, I just wanted to remind, if anybody didn't see the clip out there today of President Trump explaining the urgency of the crisis down there. 1 in 3 women get sexually abused on the way, get raped on the way. You know, the children, the trafficking, all the things, and he gives you the actual stats and numbers. So I'm not gonna redo it all, but really go on there. It's just a very short speech on the situation over the course of the year. He gives you all the numbers and everything, and it's very powerful, and it really speaks to the gravity of the problem. And that these aren't just refugees coming in, that this has been an invasion and we've been being invaded. And I just wanted to point that out. But also for the, from the Mexican people's perspective, that they feel like they're being invaded by South America. And it's really, we want to stop this. And I think that hopefully we can, President Trump's going to put the hammer down on the situation, because it's wrong for them to drag these children through Mexico in this. I mean, all this stuff. I mean, they call these people parents, dragging them across deserts with violent gang members and rapists. That's not being a parent. It wasn't so bad where they came from. And Mexico has opened welcome arms and given them jobs and sanctuary and everything. So they have no excuse whatsoever. They have no excuse for the crimes. This is really criminal. What this caravan is doing already is completely criminal, and criminal to Mexico, and really damaging their communities. So it's criminal from A to Z. These are not refugees whatsoever in the least. They've been offered jobs, refugee status, protection, everything in Mexico if they'll take it. So if they're denying that, they're not refugees. They're combatants, and we really need, and they're gangsters, they're cartel, they're child traffickers, they're people selling slaves in America. There are people coming here with devil's breath to put that stuff in someone's face and take all their money and all their wealth and everything they ever did in their whole life, and you'll gladly give it to them. Look it up, devil's breath. I mean, this is the kind of thing that, that's going on. And look how many of their politicians are getting killed. And is that what we want in America? Do we just want chaos and anarchy and all that sort of thing? So, yeah, John, I just wanted to make sure everybody listened to what President Trump said today, because I thought it was very powerful. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, I got some more things I need to cover on questions. Matthew Wall again said Troy was right on. I wish the sleepers in America knew what was going on. We are so running out of time. The resistance from Democrats, socialists is killing me. If there are any Dems out there, wake up. Well, Troy or Matt, I agree with you 100%. And there are sleepers out there. And there's a lot of people that realize what's going on, but they're waiting. They're saying, well, I'm going to wait until the last minute. The last minute is when it happens. And it's not going to happen that way. We need forces that down on the ground, boots on the ground in New Mexico, that can stop the force. Now, Zulu Niner, is it 25,000 people and some are armed? All vets have no choice but to use lethal force. It's not better. Is it not better to hit them before they hit you? I am 100% agreement with you. However, the only way, because they are actually where we're at, where the men are at on the ground, boots on the ground, they're 3 feet from the border fence, and they cannot fire into Mexico unless fired upon. If we back off and they come on our side, then that's a different story. But I think the rules of war are going to fall into this, to where we might be able to do something. But we have a new governor who is against the wall, and she will not send the National Guard down there. So we have assurance that we do have backup by President Trump if we are fired on. And if it gets to this, he has a plan in place, but it's really a touchy situation at this point. And then Jim Gallagher, you put Trump knows all about that, but he finds out I'm also Democrat trying to hold out until it's too late, so the caravans are walk through. I have a surprise for them. I'll get hundreds of them at once. I like that attitude, Jim. And I tell you what, welcome on board, buddy. But this is something that there's a fine line between what we're doing right now, but we have to stay within the legal limits of the law to keep us out of trouble as well. But if fired on, I don't care what has to be done. We will stop them at any cost that we can. Now, Mark Hill puts, feel so useless. I'm recovering from knee surgery, 1 month out. I want to be down on the border, at least be an extra pair of eyes and presence. Mark, if you want to come down and be eyes on the border, you're not useless. That is what we need. We have points we can put you. My field commander is standing here with me right now that's been on the border, that will be in charge of these groups that are going down there, and is in charge of who's down there now. However, Mark, if you want to give me a call, call me at 505-334-2492. We can always use eyes. Like I said, we've got people that have no experience in the military. Everybody is useful. And anything that you can do or want to do, we will work with you. You can help with us. We work together as a team. Where we go one, we go all. And that's how it is. We have each other's back. We're not only a brotherhood, but we're in Patriots, but we're Americans first. And that's what's important. So that's how that's the only way that I can respond to those, to your questions. So again, thank you, Mark. He says, I pray and pray earnestly. You're a good man, my friend. I appreciate it, and God bless you. And we'll pray that you heal soon. That's another thing we are Christians. Now, we don't just go on do border ops, stuff like that. Another thing the United Constitutional Patriots do is we also help out. We're trying to be the first boots on the ground with everything from food supplies, you name it. When there's hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, we are licensed as a humanitarian group. And this is how it is. We are there to help the American people in any situation they're in when we can. Zulu Niner, what I would like to know is if the military will be on standby watching the 25,000. Yes, they are being watched. Now, this I do know. We got information from DOD and other people that on the border, even though we don't have troops there, they do have, and I'd never heard of it before, but they do have combat. What do you call those things that fly in the air? My mind just went blank, Chuck.
Drones.
Yeah, they do have combat drones that are watching. There are also they have a couple of blimps in the area down there on the border. But our border of New Mexico is wide open, except for our handful of people we got there till we get more people there. We need at least 1,000 men on that border. We have 187 miles of a 3-foot fence, and they're coming in, and we don't have enough men to stop all of them. If I had another 400 men, we could stop everything going on as far as the illegal drugs, the child trafficking, which is the main child trafficking route for the U.S. in New Mexico. We have the routes, but I don't have the trained men to put them there. And I'm not going to put people in a position where they're going to get killed because of lack of training or not knowing what to do. Okay, Mark Hill says, I can cook, operate radio, a licensed ham. Oh, that's good. There you can help us. We got the ham, we got the radios. You could really help us. And I appreciate that. Mike, you said, would love to go. I'm great with 50 cal, but my lungs are not good. I have Mount Salion's ash that messed me. Oh, you're up there. You're up in Portland, Mount Salient. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. You don't have to run. You don't have to move fast. You can very easily. You can very easily hold a spot, and you'll have the men there with you. So if you're interested, give me a call at 505-334-2492 after the show, and we'll figure it out. I'm 69 years old, almost 70, but you know what? I'm still able to get around and do my part. All of us are older vets, and we welcome any help we can get. Hopefully, you wouldn't have to use the 50 cal, but if the time comes, we got to do what we have to do. We have to protect our country. We have to protect America. We have to protect our president and the constitutional rights of every American there is, and the lives of the American people. That is what our job is. If you want to donate, please donate to the United Constitutional Patriots Facebook page. You'll find a PayPal on there. You can, if you want to send gas cards, Walmart cards, anything like that, dry goods, which again, Nuclear Warrior can go through that here in a minute. You can send, stuff to the United Constitutional Patriots, care of John Horton or Mark Cheney, Cheney, at Post Office Box 1334, Flora Vista, New Mexico, 87415. Or you can call me at 505-334-2492. Now, Mike Basmel, I think that's how you say it. I apologize if I'm not saying it right. You can get a hold of me if you want to do something. We're not going to put you in a situation where you can't get out of. And Mark, our radio, our officer that handles all radio and everything, he's also licensed shortwave, and that is Nuclear Warrior. His name's Mike also. So Mark, you would be working directly with him in radio communication and stuff like that with the men. We have a lot of radios that have been donated, which one radio can save the life of 30 men, because we're able to reach each other really fast and let them know. So this is what we're looking at, folks. We're not, like I said, we're not just a bunch of yahoos out there in the middle of nowhere trying to be John Waynes. We are trained military people. Most of us are vets. We're here because we took an oath to go in the military to protect our country, no matter what, and from no matter who. This is what we're looking at. So if you folks can help in any way, spread the word, share this show as much as you can on the share button up there, get the word out, and let's see what we can do. So that's all I could, I guess, that I can really say. Is there anybody else other than Nuclear Warrior you need to, if you can give them a update on some of the things that are going to be needed, then I'll if no one else has anything to say, I will have Chuck say something or say the prayer, and I'll close the show. Well, before I do that, Pete, did you have anything you wanted to say on Pete's Corner? Pete isn't feeling good, folks, tonight. So, in fact, he's going to the hospital tomorrow. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Jim, you're a good man and friend. Okay, we got Nuclear Warrior. Can you give them just a list? You don't have to go through the whole thing, because we do have a list posted in United Constitutional Patriots Facebook. So go ahead, Nuclear Warrior.
Thank you, Commander. Hello again, folks. I'm going to repost the list there so you don't have to search down through the page so far to find it again. I'll put a fresh list up there towards the top. But the easiest thing to get the supplies to the men and boots on the ground the quickest would be donations through PayPal or GoFundMe, gift cards for like Walmart, gas cards, because they can go to local sources and get the stuff right away. Stuff like bottled water, stuff like freeze-dried foods, stuff like canned goods, toothpaste, toothbrushes, sanitary items, all this stuff, so you don't have to box it up, try to ship it, pay the shipping on it. Then when it gets to headquarters, we have to truck it down to the location where it's going to be needed. The cash donations to those funds work best. That way we can expedite getting the stuff that they need down to them. But there are stuff that you can do. If you can't donate through the cash channels, they need stuff like tents, tarps for a barrier between the ground and the tent, tent poles and pegs, tools to set the tent pegs and poles, batteries, lanterns, be them either fuel or battery powered, something like Coleman lanterns, flashlights, especially if you have a LED type flashlight that has a red lens that you can insert in the lens housing. That helps save their night vision when they're trying to use the lights to read maps or report stuff of that nature. Air mattresses, sleeping pads. Sleeping pads work out really well. They compress and can be transported easily. You can unscrew the cap on there and they self-inflate and put the cap back on it, and that's a barrier between the sleeping bag and the cold ground. Things like biodegradable soaps, sleeping bags. I recommend down to 25 degrees, but with winter setting in and the weird cold front down through the desert right now, down to about 10 degrees works even better. Sunglasses, razors and shaving utensils, small mirrors, binoculars especially, night vision, campfire grills, propane stoves, even the little stoves that screw onto the top of a liquid fuel bottle, and they have the spreadable arms on there to put the pots and pans on. Those work quite well. Can openers, safety stuff like bandages, wound closure strips, lip balm because it'll be dry. Fire starters, fireproof matches, eating utensils, cooking utensils, stuff of that nature. Bottle of water, especially if you can get it there. But like I say, cash donations, we can go get it out of the Walmart or Sam's or wherever that's close by and get it down to the border really quick. So I'm going to post this list of stuff again then on the Facebook page for the United Constitutional Patriots. You won't have to scroll down to find it so far. And by all means, if you can't do anything else, prayers, especially group prayers. Group prayer has more power than the sum of individual prayers for the same number of folks. By all means, if you can't meet in a prayer group, individual prayers will work as well. They need all the help they can get. We need all the help that we can get in order to help them and successfully execute our mission, which is to be the boots on the ground, the eyes and ears, that we can get the information to the people who can make the hard choices for what's to come. Okay, so with that, I can think of nothing else to elaborate on at this time, Commander. I guess we could turn it over to Chuck and do the evening prayer, and you could do the closing remarks.
Okay. Before we turn over to Chuck, I do want to stress this, folks. These men and women on the border down there are not staying in motels. They're not eating in restaurants. Their supplies are what we furnish for them down there. They come with supplies, but naturally supplies run out. So we've got to keep them in supplies, food, and make sure they're taken care of, be able to keep them on the border and take care of them. So that's why it's so important for these donations. I know a lot of people are hollering for donations all over the country, but this is for your country. This is for your freedom, your children's freedom, as well as ours. This is where we need to pull together. Your prayers for those of you that can't afford, but I'm not being a smart aleck when I say this, but if you can afford a case of beer or a pack of smokes, you can afford a couple of bucks. And I mean that wholeheartedly. This is for, this is try to stop these people from coming. So we'll do the fighting for you, and you won't end up fighting in your own yard. Because if we can't stop them, folks, that's what's going to happen. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chuck. Chuck, do you want to say the evening prayer, please?
All right, sir. Lord Jesus, we come before you right now, thanking you, Lord, once again for this another opportunity to come here and do this great work that we do 3 nights a week on this show, and that we do each and every day with our other work here on behalf of our country, our president, and in service to you. We thank you, Lord, for another great show. We thank you for our great listeners out there who have been providing some information this evening as we had provided ours. We're so thankful for them that they tune in each time, and we ask you to bless them. We're thankful for President Trump and the work that he's doing, what he's trying to do for this country, and the nonsense that he has to face each and every day for trying to do what's best for this country is just absolutely ridiculous. But we're so thankful that he stands up to it and continues to do what he does, and we ask you, Lord, to keep your hand upon him, protect him, watch over him, let your angels be encamped around about him, and your blood of protection be upon him, and as well as those that are working together with him to the betterment of our country and the defeat of the deep state. We ask you right now to continue with us now throughout this night into the coming days. Continue to guide us, guard us, and direct us, and draw us ever closer to one another and ever closer to thee. We also, Lord, want to send a special prayer out for our buddy Pete, who is the one that brings our show up each time we do a show and introduces Johnny. We're thankful for the work he does as well. We ask you, Lord, to place your hand on him and give him complete healing in his body and strength and peace in his mind, his heart, and his spirit. We ask you now to continue with us all throughout this night and into the coming days. Continue to guide us, guard us, and direct us, and draw us ever closer to one another and ever closer to thee. Be our prayer in Jesus' holy name. Amen and amen.
Amen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being with us tonight. Please keep your prayers for our president. I want to thank I want to thank the law enforcement agencies now that are tuning in with us and follow us. It's great to know that we have people that support us in the law enforcement society. Keep your prayers for them. They're out there putting their life on the line every time they go to work. When they kiss their kids goodbye, they don't know if they're going to see them again. When they kiss their wives goodbye, they don't know if they're going to see them again. It's that bad out there. And, my prayers are with all the law enforcement. If you see somebody attacking someone in the law enforcement, help the law enforcement officer. If you, I don't care if he's just getting gas, you see him, walk over and say a prayer with him for his protection. It's so important. Prayer is the most powerful thing there is, folks. And right now, our country needs prayer. Pray for our country. Pray for all of our military, our patriots, our first responders, law enforcement. Pray hard for our president to succeed, because the man is under a lot of stress, and he keeps there's no end to what he's doing. And we need to support him and let him know that America is behind him. And if we do that, then that's all we can do. But we need to do the best we can. And I look at America as best of the best of any country in the world. I love my country, fought for my country, and I'm fighting again. So God bless you all. We'll see you. We have Monday, Friday, and Saturday, or excuse me, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. We're on at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And I look forward to having you back. Be happy to answer questions, call-ins, whatever it takes. God bless you. God bless America. And y'all have a great evening, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night. Where's everyone at? How many listeners do we have, Chuck?
I didn't hear Pete say we were clear, are we?
And thank you for watching our show tonight, the United Constitutional Patriots Radio. We'll be back on there on Friday at 6 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Pacific. Have a great night, Patriots.